It's not my country, but it's where I live. It's where the sisters stand watching over the valley. It's here my story begins. This is an ancient place, cared for by Aboriginal people for thousands of years. Today, Gundungurra and Darug people continue to care for their ancestral homelands. Gundungurra and Darug country. I want to take you there. When we look out over these valleys, we're reminded of the ancestors, how they lived on this country, and the legacy they left us with. Thousands of years of occupation, and yet to look at this place, you'd assume that no one had ever been here. It's a living, breathing example of the way our people lived on this earth. The Blue Mountains is now a World Heritage listed site. It's over 1 million hectares of preserved landscape. There are 6 Aboriginal language groups within that World Heritage area, and it's testament to their care and responsibility that we now have a World Heritage area, let alone a national park. It's when I look around and I see how beautiful this place is, I know that it's because of those ancestors and the traditional people who continue to care for their country.
Well, my name's Carol Cooper and we're in Darug and Gundungurra country in the beautiful Blue Mountains. As far as I'm concerned, the best place on earth. It's an amazing place, this, and what we're discussing today, it breaks my heart. But having said that, please let me thank you very much for bringing it to our attention. It's an amazing, the rubbish that people will just chuck over there. It's not just paper and cups. It's whatever they can get their hands on. And there's signposts, and there's garbage bins, the big green garbage bins. We've never considered looking over and down Echo Point. We've always looked straight out and around. We've never looked down. And by not looking down, we've missed what you have found and brought to our attention. And it's amazing how they can do that. Just go around destroying property like that and chucking it over Echo Point. Yeah, that's our place. We've kept the place clean for thousands and thousands of years, and now in this time we've got people that don't care, and that makes it really hard for us to cope with.
Hi Janelle, great to see you here.
Thank you.
What I'd like to talk to you about is the way in which the project you've been doing with me, the Reimagine project, how that is inspired by your whole commitment to caring for country as a Bundjalung Yagal woman who lives here in the Blue Mountains.
Oh goodness, where do I start? I think caring for country is so embedded in our culture and in our people and our stories, and it really is about our responsibility, really at the end of the day, and it shows in you go to some of the most beautiful and remote places in this country of ours, And what you're actually looking at is the remnants of our people caring for country over hundreds and thousands of years. And yeah, things are different now. The materials that we use are very different. Useful things like glass and plastic and steel. These are things that have changed and evolved over time. And they're now part of our life as Aboriginal people as well. So I guess, our responsibility is even greater now. And so that passion stays really within me. And, I'm lucky and I'm really happy that I'm seeing some changes. And that's through being able to, express my concerns through the arts. And, being part of this project with you has been fabulous, because it's just another layer. What's really important about this Reimagine project is that we're supporting the healing of community after the fires. So with that, it's even a deeper kind of sense of responsibility, because we're looking after each other as people who have suffered great trauma, some people, through those fires. So that that coming together also, and being creative, and then looking at other issues like landfill and waste. It's just been wonderful.
And tell us about the bin stickers that you did for Penrith City Council.
That's probably my most exciting thing that's happening very shortly, actually. So this year we had the rains down in Penrith when we were supposed to be celebrating our NAIDOC week, and we had a big community event planned, but because of the rains it got postponed. And Penrith City Council, I approached them about what I would like to see happen at that event, because lots of Aboriginal people and community were invited to talk about what they would like to see at this event. And I just think it's time that, we all Aboriginal people think about how we hold events, and from what we eat off to where our rubbish is going to go, and the collectible things that we take home. What are they made of? Are they, that those sort of things sort of stick in my head, and I like to talk about it and see if it's a possibility. And so as an artist, I've been working on my bin labels, beautiful decorative labels that go on wheelie bins. And while we can't actually have them on our private wheelie bins in the Blue Mountains and Western Sydney, I've got the opportunity to reach out and talk to people that are, events. So we could have my bin stickers displayed to sort of highlight, where your rubbish should go. Basically encourage people to come over and look at the bins and look at the beautiful artwork, but then, start to develop a more sort of stronger relationship with where their rubbish is going, particularly at events, because it's so disturbing, watching, massive events, even around the world, where hundreds and thousands of people congregate, and when they leave, just to see how much rubbish is left behind. Well, I think, we can change that, but in a creative way. Yeah.
So how has this sort of engagement with art and creativity nourished you in your own life's journey?
Oh, look, I think, I've spent a lot of time out at landfill, and that's my favourite place. Always has been, it was just always a weekend, thing to do. And of course, I've raised my daughter, who's now 30, taking her out to landfill, nieces, nephews, sister, the whole family. And, I, like generations of people who have gone to landfill, over many, many years, what we've realised is just that the wasted resources, that end up. And to this day, in remote tips, country tips, it's phenomenal. And I guess, it's great to find something fabulous and bring it home and use it yourself, or sell it, or, do it up and get creative with it. But it really is, it's kind of like an archaeological dig when you go to a tip, because there's so many stories, and so much history in landfill, but at the same time, it's so disturbing. And I guess for me, what's nourished me is that, you know, with my history of art, you know, the arts and stuff, I've been able to meld the two and develop fabulous projects, you know, that really get people thinking. And that's what it's about. I've never really wanted to, you know, point the finger at people or society and say, you know, you're doing it wrong and we should be doing it better. But, you know, let's look at it. Let's get creative and then, you know, change our behaviours.
Yeah.
And that's, I speak for myself too. So, yeah, it's
But
about
that's
teaching myself.
all part two of that reuse, recycle, upcycle. So the end of fast fashion, the end of
Yeah.
waste, and a much more conscious celebration of how we can take what we've got and extend its use and rework it using our imagination and working together.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah,
yes,
absolutely.
thank you. And it's just been such a pleasure working with you on the
Thank
Reimagine
you.
project. And we've
Likewise.
got one final workshop
Yep.
to do, which is we're going to take a whole bunch of creatives together.
Yep.
And we're going to say, okay, now let's co-create our own journey of
Yeah,
Regenesis.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
looking forward to that,
Looking
Janelle.
forward to the future. You know, it's a bright future.
Thank you, Janelle. Thank you.
Thank you.